And still to come on Wide World of Sports. We'll be going back to San Jose.
They are vastly different animals. The harness horse, or standard bred, must learn a rhythmic gait, must train to trot or pace, and to carry his partner not on his back, but in a wheeled contraption known as a sulky. And the standard bred must be a workhorse, for unlike his thoroughbred cousin, to win his sport's premier race, the harness horse must compete more than once on a given day. And that day is here as a group of 19 trotters come to the Meadowlands racetrack in New Jersey for harness racing's crown jewel, the Hambletonian, on ABC's Wide World of Sports. Thank you, Brent. And that is a very familiar sight. The skyline of Manhattan, 8 miles to the east. As we pull back the white building, lower right of your screen is the Brendan Byrne Arena, home of the NBA New Jersey Nets and the NHL New Jersey Devils. And at this very same complex, it's Giants Stadium. And there it is. Tonight, the New York Jets will meet the Philadelphia Eagles there. And then on Monday night, we'll be there at 8 o'clock Eastern time when the Giants take on the Buffalo Bills. And across the parking lot sits the Meadowlands racetrack. That's where we are for live coverage of what has been referred to through the years as the Kentucky Derby of harness racing. This is a race with a very long, storied, and rich tradition. The Hambletonian began in Syracuse, New York in 1926. It has been run every year since at various sites. Today is the 66th running, but they're going to break with tradition today. For 65 years, a horse has had to win 2 races in a given day to win the Hambletonian. And that meant in most years a horse would go to the post 3 times and sometimes even as many as 4 times to win the Hambletonian. But the Hambletonian Society has decided after years of study to de-emphasize the endurance factor. And frankly, it also makes it much easier to format for television. So what they have done is taken the 19 horses, they broke them down into fields of 10 and 9. 2 elimination races have been held earlier this afternoon, and now we will have a field of 10 going postward to decide the championship of the 66th Hambletonian. With me is Charles C. Canty, and Charles C., while they may have de-emphasized endurance, these standardbreds are certainly, as we said during the tease, workhorses.
Well, endurance will always be the long suit of these standard breds, but consider the schedule that several of these horses have had today, even though they're going to race twice in one day. They came onto the track late this morning. They jogged 3 miles. Then they trotted a mile at half speed. They went back, freshened up, came back about an hour and a half later, jogged 2 more miles, then trotted another mile at 3/4 speed. So far, they've been 7 miles before they even get behind the starting gate. Then, hopefully, they're going to go out and trot the fastest mile of their life. I don't know what you could compare this to in human terms, Al. I guess it would be like a marathon runner going out and warming up in a 10K.
I mean, what next? The losers go to Central Park and pull a handsome cab tonight, I suppose. Less than 2 hours ago, we had the first of the eliminations, or semifinal races, as it were. A field of 10 went to the post, the top 5 qualifying for the Hambletonian final. And let's take a look right now at the stretch drive in the first elimination.
Well, you see there's Super Pleasure on the rails showing speed. He'd been on the lead all the way, but as they come towards the wire, it's the entry of Yukon Don in the middle making his move, and on the outside his stable mate M.B. Felty, who had been 3rd most of the way, and moves up, takes the lead, wins that division. Anders Crown is 4th. He had a tough trip on the outside.
M.B. Felty came home in 155 flat, and the entry finished 1-2, and thus they paid more to place than show. $3.40 for the win, $4 to place, $3 to show. And Super Pleasure, who finished 3rd, paid $5. Anders Crown and Can't Be Jimmy finishing 4th and 5th, and that means they move on to the final and are eligible to win the Hambletonian. Now, in the second elimination, watch the move as we take you to the start of the race by the number 9 horse, the outside horse, Giant Victory at the start.
It was a nifty bit of driving by Jack Moiseyev. He takes this colt and just cuts right across the field, tucks him into 3rd position. And that's pretty much where he stayed until they came to the stretch, and he swings Giant Victory out and heads right to the wire on top. A big effort by Big Brown with John Campbell driving to finish 2nd. And along the rail there, it's Krista's Best, who's fading to 3rd after setting record fractions in this faster 2nd division.
And the prices for the Victory, Giant Victory, went off at 5-1 in that race and paid $12.80, $7.20, and $3.60. Big Brown to place paid $6.60 and $3.40 to show, and Krista's Best $2.60. Somatic finished 4th, and Grundy's Mint finished 5th. So those 5 horses advance, and thus we have the field of 10. for the Hambletonian. Here are the post positions. MV Felty starts on the rail in Giant Victory out of the 2-hole. Big Brown, Yukon Don, Krista's Best out of the 5 spot. Super Pleasure, Somatic, Anders Crown, Grundy's Mint, and Can't Be Jimmy. Now here is the field with the saddlecloth numbers and the current odds. MB Felty and Yukon Don. The Lindy Farms entry, the favorite, 6-5. Giant Victory, who was 5-1 in his previous race, now 9-5. Crowd loves him. Big Brown is now 7-1. Krista's Best, who went off as the favorite at 3-2 in his heat, is now 6-1. The number 5 horse is Super Pleasure at 17-1. Somatic not getting much backing at 50-1. Anders Crown, good long shot possibility at 12-1. And Grundy's Mint and Can't Be Jimmy are the 2 rank outsiders at 80 and 70-1 respectively. One of the sidebar stories here is, can one family win a 3rd straight Hambletonian? The Antonacci family, sons Frank and Jerry and father Guy, who run the Lindy Farm stable in Connecticut, seeking their 4th Hambletonian victory ever, their 3rd in a row. Let's take a closer look at the family and the stable with Charles C.
Hambletonian success began for the Antonacci family in 1969 when the race was still at the Illinois State Fairgrounds. Lindy's Pride romped home in 2 straight heats on his way to the 3-year-old championship. Today, Lindy Farms in Somersville, Connecticut is one of the sport's premier nurseries. It's the home of 3 winning Hambletonian trophies and more than 200 horses. Guy Antonacci has owned trotters for almost 30 years, and now his sons Frank and Jerry have joined in. With so many horses, there are plenty of business decisions, but there's sentiment too, especially for Lindy's Pride, that first Hambletonian winner who still leads the good life at age 25. After Lindy's Pride, they waited 20 years before winning in both the last 2 Hambletonians.
I never expected 3 Hambletonians, but we worked awful hard. I mean, I studied 20 years for breeding foundations and checking up the breeding and so forth. So
everybody is making a big situation about this 3 in a row, and I guess in sports it's pretty hard to do 3 in a row. So everybody made me aware of it about a month ago. So I guess, you know, now I'm getting psyched to try to win 3 in a row.
Argentina native Osvaldo Formia trained the last 2 Hambletonian winners for the Antonaccis. 4 months ago, he turned MB Felty over to Ron Gerfine. The horse lacked seasoning then, but now it seems the once backward colt has put it all together.
I was like an immature child. And Frank called me and asked me if I minded fooling around with him for a while. And he told me the horse had some ability. And he was eligible for the Hambletonian. I'm 50 years old, and I've been training horses for a long, long time. And I never had a Hambletonian eligible walk through that door.
And there is his horse, MB Felty, trying to walk through the door with the lion's share of the $1 million purse. And MB Felty and his stablemate, 1A Yukon Don, right now very much the favorite of the crowd here at the Meadowlands. They are 6-5. Country fair atmosphere at the Meadowlands for the Hambletonian. We'll be back. The Meadowlands now just moments away from the start of the Hambletonian. Biggest race in harness racing, 66th edition, purse $1.2 million, the distance a mile, and this is a 1-mile track, so it's once around. Track is fast. It's cooled off here in New York. It's very pleasant right now. Temperature 81 degrees under cloudy skies, and the winds out of the southeast at about 12 miles per hour. There is Giant Victory, a fascinating story. Here's a horse who was originally named Healthy Glow, but his owners are such huge New York Giant fans that they named him Giant Victory, changed his name, and in a year that the Giants won the Super Bowl, will Giant Victory win the Hambletonian?
Well, let's look at a fact here. Jack Moiseyev, who drives him, got a reputation for moving horses up first time he drives them and really kind of getting their attention. You saw that dramatic victory in the elimination round.
Here's another horse to watch, Big Brown, who wouldn't normally get that much respect, but the man in the sulky gets huge respect. He's in the Hall of Fame, John Campbell.
Speaking of big drivers, John Campbell, Big Brown is relatively green. He has the least earnings, the least money, but John Campbell kind of liked him. He said the only shot he's got is show a lot of speed, but there's a lot of speed in this final division.
And John Campbell has won 3 of the last 4 Hambletonians, including victories in 87, 88, and last year with Harmonious. Here are the odds now. The entry, MB Felty and Yukon Don, starting from the 1 and 4 posts. Even money. Giant Victory is 9-5. Big Brown is 7-1. You can get 9-1 on Krista's Best. Super Pleasure at 20. Somatic at 60. Anders Crown, number 7. Keep an eye on him at 12-1. Grundy's Men at least 99-1. And Can't Be Jimmy at 60-1. Again, the Antonacci family seeking their 3rd consecutive victory, as they have 2 horses. The favorites going to the post. They are now listed at 4-5. And let's go upstairs to the man who will call the race, our colleague Dave Johnson. Dave?
And the starter, Danny Dale, has just called the trotters to come to the starting gate. A little of the strategy here. We have 4 horses with a lot of early speed. Giant Victory and Big Brown, Krista's Best, and Super Pleasure. As a matter of fact, Super Pleasure, all of his wins have been on the wire-to-wire fashion. With late speed, we have MB Felty, who had a bit of an easy qualifying race here this afternoon, and Somatic with Bill O'Donnell. And a new look in terms of the drivers. Only John Campbell and Bill O'Donnell have victories in the Hambletonian. They're all on gate. We will not have a recall. Coming to the start of the 66th edition of the Hambletonian. 4-5 for the entry of MB Felty and Yukon Don. And they're off. And Big Brown with John Campbell quickly shoots to the lead. On the outside, Krista's Best is right there. MB Felty, showing surprising early speed, is now up into 3rd position. Super Pleasure on the outside is right there 4th and going up as they round the clubhouse turn. Campbell has Big Brown on the front end by a length and a half. And Cat Manzi now takes Super Pleasure up to challenge early. Krista's Best tucked in at the rail is racing 3rd by 2. Then comes MB Felty in 4th. That's Giant Victory 5th at this point, about 6 lengths off the leader. Yukon Don is next. Then comes Somatic, a gap of some 5 lengths back to Anders Crown. Then comes Grundy Smith, and at the back of the pack, Can't Be Jimmy. The first quarter in 28-1, and the battle on the front end. Up on the outside, Campbell regains the lead by a head. Along the inside, Cat Manzi now slows Super Pleasure down a bit. In 2nd position, a gap of a length and 3/4, and Krista's Best is racing 3rd. They're by the half in 56-1. It is not an extremely fast Hambletonian. Campbell still on the front end now with Big Brown. On the inside, Super Pleasure is 2nd. Krista's Best now inching up on the outside, a closer 3rd, with MB Felty ready to make his move in 4th position. Giant Victory is poised on the outside 5th. Then along the inside, here comes Somatic gaining a bit. They move to the top of the stretch. Campbell still in command with Big Brown by a half a length. On the outside, that's Krista's Best. As the field turns for home, 3/4 on the board, 125-2. On the inside, Campbell has Big Brown, but in the middle of the track, here comes MB Felty. And on the outside, Giant Victory charging up, and down the stretch they trot. Giant Victory with Jack Moiseyev on the outside, taking command by a head. MB Felty is 2nd. The 66th edition of the Hambletonian goes to Giant Victory by half a length. MB Felty was 2nd, and Yukon Don finished 3rd. So Giant Victory, the horse who won his elimination in 154-4, comes home here in 155. And Jack Moiseyev, in just 1 year, he's jumped to the forefront of the driver ranks. He now leads the nation in terms of driving victories in races and also money won. And another son of Super Bowl, half of this field, sired by Super Bowl, Giant Victory, comes home with a Giant Victory in the 91 Hambletonian.
All right, Dave. Well, if you're a hunch player, you had every omen going for you. The father is Super Bowl. The horse has his name changed to Giant Victory because his owners are huge New York Giant fans. We are across the parking lot from Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, and Giant Victory has indeed pulled off a Giant Victory, the biggest of all in this sport, as Giant Victory wins his first heat in the Hambletonian and then comes back to take the final. And he has won the 66th Hambletonian with Jack Moiseyev in the sulky. Giant Victory, and Charles, who are going to pick up the action on the far turn. He had him in good shape as they headed for home after he took him from the 9-hole to a victory in the first elimination out of the 2-spot to a win here.
All right, at this point, you'll see Giant Victory is 3rd over as they come around the turn. He was stalking MB Felty. The early pace had alternated between Big Brown and Super Pleasure, but when they turned for home, you could see that the action was going to be on the outside. Everyone here had said it would be a busy race through the stretch in this Hambletonian, and that's the way it turned out. And Right now, MB Felty looking like the winner, but coming up strong, Giant Victory and Jack Moiseyev. And you know, Al, some things are consistent. There's been an exchange of drivers here. The driver of MB Felty had taken off of Giant Victory, and they swapped places. It sounds like flat racing to me.
Giant Victory, he went off at 9-5, and that means he'll pay a little bit less than $6 as Giant Victory in the shadow of Giants Stadium wins the 66th Hambletonian. And we'll be back to the Meadowlands in a moment. Back at the Hambletonian, the official results: Giant Victory pays $563 and $3. MB Felty finishes second, and Yukon Don, his entry mate, third. So they each pay $260 and $280 to show. The Exacta pays $9.20. And what a month and what a year it has been for Jack Moiseyev, who not only leads the country in victories overall, it's the second $1 million race that you have won. Precious Bunny winning the pace here within the past 30 days. And let's talk about, first of all, the first race when you took your horse from the 9-post right to the inside, and that seemed to set up the win.
Yeah, when the gate opened, I just took a chance and left a little bit, and there was a big 3-hole, and everything just seemed to work out right for me.
It did. Now we're going to take a look at the isolated replay from the far turn of this, the Hambletonian final, and tell us what you're thinking about at this particular point as you begin to head for home.
Right now, I'm just following a live horse in front of me, the one I thought I had to beat, and mine had a lot of trot left. I was just kind of waiting to straighten up to get him to go. When I asked him to go, he responded and went on, and he won the Hambo.
Now, at that particular point right here, did you feel you had enough horse to win this?
Yeah. Yep. Just trying to make sure no breaks, and I just get there enough to win. And right here, he's just inching up to him, and right at the end, he's stuck his head by to win. He's really a great horse. A good horse does that, tries to win when it's going to be close like that.
What did you think your chances were after the way he performed in that first race? Were you very confident that you could take the final?
I wasn't sure. I didn't know how the race was going to go, but I thought I had a very good chance if trip worked out good for me.
What about your year? How do you sum it up at this point? Most victories in the country, $2 million wins in the past 30 days. What are your thoughts?
Well, I sat out last year for like 6 months, and I was just happy to get back, and now I'm back. I never expected to win a $1 million race, and I win two. It's just a very good feeling. I was very happy about it.
Jack, we congratulate you, winner of the 66th Hambletonian on Giant Victory.
Thank you.
Continued success to you.
Thank you very much.
Jack Moiseyev winning the Hambletonian aboard Giant Victory, and we're going to take a look right now at the complete order of finish here as Giant Victory wins it a length over MB Felty, Yukon Don 3 back, then Somatic, Krista's Best, Anders Crown, Super Pleasure, Big Brown, Can't Be Jimmy, and Grundy's Mint. Giant Victory winning the 66th Hambletonian. Al Michaels for Charles C. Canty and Dave Johnson saying so long from East Rutherford, New Jersey, and sending in out of Havana and Brent Musburger.